Very good afternoon everybody. Myself Mamta here, and today I am here to discuss about the topic WWW, that is World Wide Web. Let's go through the outline of the lecture. We will be going through these particular topics. First one, there will be internet history, WWW, HTTP, web server, web browser, hypertext and hypermedia, multimedia, proxy servers, URLs and search engines, and the last topic will be websites. Let's go through the internet history. That what is the brief history about the discovery of internet. Internet is basically a network of interconnected computers that is now global in universe. Internet was born in 1969, which was named as ARPANET, that is ARPANET. It is made up of thousands of networks worldwide, and no one is in charge of internet. There is no particular single governing body of internet. Internet backbone is owned by private companies, and 1969 ARPANET was connection of computers at UCLA Stanford. In earlier 60s and 70s, the computers were no personal computers, only all large mainframe computers were available in 1960s. During mid 1970s, initial personal computers were discovered like Altair. They were the boxes containing blinking lights, and in late 1970s Apple II computer, which was the first usable PC, was discovered. This is the diagram. You can see the earlier computers which were discovered in early 1960s and 70s. During 1970s, the discovery of internet was there. In 1972, Telnet developed as a way to connect to remote computer, and in 1972, email was introduced. In 1977, Wisconsin has first large email system including 100 users. In 1973, ARPANET, that is ARPANET Internet, goes international. In 1973, File Transfer Protocol was established. During 1980s, the status of computer during 1980s was as follows. In 1981, IBM PC computers were discovered. In 1984, Apple Macintosh computers were discovered. In 1986, modem becomes option for PCs, and in 1984, the domain name server was introduced that allows the naming of host and computers, which was no longer any numeric naming. In 1986, NSFNet created. In 1990, it becomes the backbone of modern internet when ARPANET is decommissioned. It is completely privatized by 1995, and 56K of interconnections were initially there, and then they were increased rapidly. In 1990s, what was the status of internet? In 1991, Tim Berners-Lee released World Wide Web. TBL is a computer programmer at CERN, which is a physics lab in Europe. In 1993, Mosaic, which becomes Netscape later on, was designed by graduate students at University of Illinois, and first point and click browser. It was a first point and click browser. Later it was developed into Netscape Navigator. These are the two most significant events in the formation of the WWW. WWW or web or W3, you can say, it includes all information, text, images, audio, video and computational services that are accessible from the internet. In July 8, 1999, Nature Approximately 800 million pages of publicly accessible information was produced, and web continues to grow, tripling in size over the past 2 years. What is www? That is World Wide Web. Via internet, computers can contact with each other, they can communicate with each other by sharing information, messages and any kind of data from sender to receiver, and public files on the computers can be read by remote users, usually hypertext markup language, that is .html. HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is a part of www. URL, that is Universal Resource Locator, is name of the file on the remote computer. This is the example of URL, simple example of URL that indicates the particular file that is located at some remote computer. The system of internet servers that support hypertext to access several internet protocols on a single interface is www. Almost all protocols accessible on internet are accessible on web. Maybe it is email protocol, that is SMTP, it can be FTP, that is file transfer protocol, it can be telnet protocol. In addition, www owns a protocol, that is HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. www contains hypertext documents which further may contain simple text or links, maybe hyperlinks, that are the links to another web pages. www may also contain web, which is a billion of documents in it, and it is authorized by millions of diverse people. It is edited by no one in particular, and it is distributed over millions of computers and connected by a number of media. The World Wide Web may contain the web, which is an infrastructure of distributed information combined with software that uses networks as a vehicle to exchange the information. By using web, different computers or different computers on different networks may exchange their information. www may also contain web pages, which is the most important component of W3, which is a document that contains or references various kinds of data such as text, images, graphics, programs and videos, etc. It may also contain links, which are known as hyperlinks. A link is a connection between one web page to another web page that can be used to move around as desired. Website is also a part of www, which is a collection of related web page, where a web page may contain any kind of information. A web page is internet document that may contain any kind of data, maybe audio, maybe video, maybe text or anything. The internet makes the communication possible, but the web makes that communication easy, more productive and more enjoyable. Who are the internet providers? The internet providers are the research and educational institutions. It may be government or military entities, it may be business, it can be owned by private organizations and commercial providers. Next comes the HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, an important component of W3. Language of the web is HTTP. Protocol, which is used for communication between web browsers and web server. HTTP is a protocol that is used for making communications between web browsers and web servers. It is having TCP port number 80. Hypertext means it is a mean of information retrieval. It contains links that connect to other documents, links which are selected by users. Virtual web of connection. HTTP is produced through a language which is HTML. It is a way of writing or creating HTTP with tags added to tell some information. For example, this is the tag B that indicates that the text whichever will be typed will be written in bold. If this is B bold /B, it will provide the output bold in bold font. What are the HTTP URLs which are Uniform Resource Locators? It is a protocol. It may contain protocols like HTTP, FTPs, newsgroups, etc. Having host name, which is the name dot domain name, then port, which is usually 80 but many on 8080, directory path to the resource and resource name. This is the common example of URL having protocol, host name, port number and resource name, and may also contain directory path to the resource. Different methods of HTTP is GET method, which is to retrieve a URL from the server, and it is a simple page request which runs a CGI program and with arguments attached to the URLs. There can be some CGI program having some arguments that are attached to the URL which can be retrieved from the server by using GET method. POST method is used for forms processing. It runs a CGI program. Again, it may also contain parameters or arguments. It is having parameterized data which is more secure and private. PUT method is used to transfer a file from client to the server. Head is another method which requests URL status header only. It is used for conditional URL handling for performance enhancement schemes. It retrieves URL only if not in the local cache or date is more recent than cached copy. What are the HTTP request packets? These are the packets which are sent from client to server, which consist of HTTP header. Header is hidden in the browser environment, which may contain type of content, length of the content, user agents, that is browser issuing request, and content types, user agents, which can handle. It may also contain a URL. What are the HTTP request headers? They precede HTTP method request. Headers are terminated by a blank line. Header fields may contain from, except, encoding, except language, etc. Why web is popular? Because web is easy to use, easy to navigate. It combines graphics, sounds, video, etc. It is easy to publish, having plethora of information, and it reaches to larger audiences. So, how we relate web with internet? The internet contains physical components like computers, networks and services. So, the relation between web and internet is as follows. The internet connects thousands of computers across the world, but it is the web that allows the communication to occur between them. Web is an abstraction and common set of services on the top of the internet, and having set of protocols and tools that let us to share information with each other. This is the diagram showing how www actually works. There is a client computer with web browser software. There is a server computer with web server software. Client computers send HTTP request to server, and server computer provide HTTP response to the client according to their request. What is a web server? It is a program that understands the HTTP protocol and generates appropriate responses, having clients that connect to the machine, clients that send a request, server that reads the request and generate responses, and the client interpret the response appropriately. A simplified web server may contain a client which asks for a particular file, means a client which sends some request for a particular file, server find that appropriate file, and server sends back a response header followed by the requested file's data. Then server close the connection with the client. What does the connect mean? For all practical purposes, it looks like there is data available via a file descriptor, which is a stream of bytes. It can be treated like any other file descriptor. It is not a file like stdio or stderr error. It must have read and write system calls. How do you identify the machines? By their domain names, IP addresses and ports. This is the simple example showing machine named as www.cs.princeton.edu and a default port number of 80. This is another example having local box, that is 127.0.0.1 is me, and port number is 8080, which is used for this project, and the name of the file is index.html. How do we identify the files? File name is specified in the request message. Server maps that name to the real file, and mapping can be done in whichever way server wants to. For example, this is the name of the file, which is in actually /n/fs/fac/vivek/public_html/index.html. In your web server, you can choose your own file. What are the instant messagings? Instant messaging is an application that allows people to send and to receive messages in real time. Both sender and receiver must have instant messaging running on them. Most of the instant messaging applications use a proprietary protocol that dictates the precise format and structure of the message that are sent across the network to the receiver. Instant messaging are not so secure methods. What are cookies? Cookies is a small text file that a web server stores on your local computer's hard disk, and a cookie contains information about your visit to the site. They can be used to determine the number of unique visitors to the site, to customize the site for your future visits, to implement the shopping carts that can be maintained from visit to visit, and the cookies are not as much dangerous. Next comes the web browser. Browser is a software tool that issues the request for web page that we want and display it when it is arrived. We often talk about visiting a website as if we are going there. In truth, we actually specify the information we want and it is brought to us. The concept of visiting a site is understandable in that we often don't know what is at the particular site until we go to it and see it. Web browser have some related terminologies, that is web server, which is a computer that is set up to respond to web request. Web server is a computer that provide responses to the request of the web clients, and web address, which is the core part of URL, which uniquely identifies the page you want out of all the pages stored anywhere in the world. This is the simple diagram showing the working of retrieving of web page through web browser. This is a local computer, this is the web server. A local computer sends a request for any particular text or message, and web server provides service to the local computer. Browsers have examples: Netscape Navigator, which is a communicator. It is a product of Netscape now, which is owned by AOL. It is originally dominant. It was originally very dominant and having multi-platform, that is all operating systems. Internet Explorer is another browser which is product of Microsoft. Current dominant browser. It is not available for all operating systems. Browser's compatibility problem can cause web page problems. Diagram that is showing the Netscape search of web browsers. This is the diagram. This is the home page of Netscape search. In Netscape search, we access the different search engines by typing the word or phrases into text entry box. Then we click on the click button and preserve the favorite search engines. Internet Explorer search is a separate panel in browser which uses Microsoft Network search. Diagram that is showing the Microsoft Network search in using Internet Explorer. Direct access to only Microsoft Network's search engine is done through Internet Explorer. It allows easy access to different types of search, that is web pages, people, business, maps, etc. Next comes the hypertext and hypermedia. Hypertext, it is a database that has active cross references and allows the reader to jump to another part of the database as desired. It is a part of the database having parts of the database known as nodes. The cross references are called as links, and the links are tied to specific point in document which is known as anchor. A link connects two nodes and it is normally directed by source node, destination node, and associated with specific part of source node, that is anchor. Sometimes the destination is the part of the node. It can be a source anchor or it can be a destination anchor. Most of the hypertext facilities have a backtrack facility in which loops are also possible. Some hypertext systems give an indication that a link leads to an already visited node. So, nodes plus links are equivalent to hyper documents, which is an information content. Hyper document is a document containing information contents. Hypertext system is software which lets one to read and write the hyper document, and hypertext system may contain hyper documents. Other definition of hypertext are: hypertext or non-sequential writing with free user movement along with the links is a simple and obvious idea. It is merely an electronification of literary connections as well as already known them. We can define hypertext as the use of computer to transcend the linear, bounded and fixed quality of traditional written text. Third definition of hypertext is that it is at the most basic level, it is a database management system that lets you to connect screens of information using associative links. At its most sophisticated level, hypertext is a software environment for collaborative work communication, and the knowledge acquisition. Hypertext products mimic the brain's ability to store and retrieve information by referential links for quick access. Uses of hypermedia or hypertext are as an educational tool, such as what we use in this class, as a way for navigating the internet, as a way of organizing the contents in database, as a way of allowing users with disabilities to learn, as a way of entertainment, making online purchases, not just for the internet. It can be used in other applications like dictionaries, encyclopedias, databases and presentations, etc. Multimedia is a designating or pertaining to form a artistic, educational and communication using more than one medium. Multimedia may contain multiple media, maybe audio, video, textual, graphic, etc. Having more than one medium is a multimedia. Can contain text, images, sound, animation and video all together. Multimedia having the use of several different media to convey information like text, audio, graphics, video, animation, etc. Next comes the hypermedia. It is a method of structuring information in different media for presentation to the user via a workstation, whereby related items of information are interconnected. A logical extension of the term hypertext, in which audio, video, plain text or non-linear hyperlinks intertwine to create a generally non-linear medium of information. This contrasts with the multimedia, where, although often capable of random accesses in terms of physical medium, is essentially linear in nature. The www is a classic example of hypermedia, whereas a movie on a DVD is an example of standard multimedia. Hypermedia is having hypertext with a difference that hypermedia documents contain links not only to other pieces of text but also to other forms of different media like sound, images and movies, etc. The images themselves can be selected to link to sounds or documents. The hypermedia is simply used to combine hypertext and multimedia. Hypermedia is a combination of hypertext and multimedia. This is the simple diagram that is showing the relation between text only, multimedia, hypermedia and hypertext. What are the proxy servers? Proxy servers are a part of an overall firewall strategies. These are the sites between local network and the external networks, which were originally used as a caching strategy to minimize the outgoing URL request and to increase the perceived browser performance. Primary mission of proxy server is now to ensure anonymity of internal users, but still they are used for caching of frequently requested files and also for content filtering. They act as a go-between submitting your request to the external networks. The requests are translated from your IP addresses to the proxy's IP address. The email addresses of internal users are removed from the request headers and they cause an actual break in the flow of communication. The security advantages of proxy server are They terminate the TCP connection before relaying to the target host in or out. Hide the internal clients from external networks, blocking off dangerous URLs. They filter out dangerous contents, and proxy servers check the consistencies of retrieved contents. They eliminate the need of transport layer, routing between different networks, and single point of access control and logging is provided by proxy server.